No, but listen to, did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisans' word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elected in fact irresponsible men what happened to our country. We elected in fact irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.
No secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political Benin in it or not?
Oh, but you political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay. When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded Alphas, all men on board.
So, this riot situation when it comes to country, because many times you notice that
if child failure is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
On the Boyka's administration, we want to give the government of Liberia an ultimatum of 72 hours to provide a living ballot of the chairman of the Student Unification Party, or else there will be a catastrophic pneumonia in the Republic of Liberia. To arrest the chairman of the Student Unification Party, only because the government feel intimidated about the Vanguard Party advocacies.
The government got capital rule, small, B rule, all kinds of place. I think the reason Joseph Baga will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of The Closing Argument. I am Jerome Gayman, your host, almost 7 as usual. We will be delving into trending issues in Liberia, obviously current events. I am in my studio here in South Florida. The weather is beautiful. We are looking forward to having a great conversation with you. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Let me send a shout out to where you are calling from or tuning in from. If there's anything going on in your neck of the wood, in your neighborhood that we missed before press time, let us know in the comment section. And we will put our reporters on the beat to let you know that we are everywhere This is a network that doesn't sleep. We have invited some lawyers on here today to delve into the asset recovery. We have been trying to get the actual indictment from the court. And up to press time, we didn't get it on time. Lawyers do not like to speak when they do not have the facts. So as soon as we get the actual indictment from the court, they will be here to delve into it. On the international level, the BBC was today disgraced for writing fictitious news. They were made to retract and apologize for their biased coverage of the war in the Middle East, specifically Gaza. What does this say when a news organ as large as the BBC is caught fabricating stories, planting stories? Some pictures posted were fake. The two top leaders of the BBC had to resign today. And from what we are hearing, there will be more heads to roll. The BBC is under scrutiny, and rightfully so. For those of us who have lived and died with the BBC, this is why we say when we tell you a story, we need to quote our sources. For you to be able to fact check. That's what it is all about. We are also covering what's going on in Liberia. Honorable Musa Hassan Bility versus the Republic of Liberia. How a country that has a deficit in infrastructure development will deny a man who is coming to the aid of his own people, using his own money, will be denied because we do not want him to take credit. According to the United States Department, now we are talking about the State Department investment climate statement on Liberia, right on the top. Obstacles preventing Liberia from moving forward. Number one, and that's poor road network. That's not from me. That's not from anybody else. This is from the U.S. State Department. Poor road networks, lack of reliable internet access, and corruption. Poor physical infrastructure in the nation. Low purchasing power of the population due to widespread poverty. Inconsistent and overlapping tax administration and policies. a weak judiciary, inadequate legal protection for contracts, and widespread public sector corruption. Public sector, that's the government. I just quoted you where we're getting this from. 2025 Investment Climate Statement. From the United States State Department. This is not gossip. It's not innuendo. This is fact. Today we added a new newspaper on our agenda. Besides the usual newspaper reliably quoted here all the time, we want to add a new one. So we can test its ability to be a newspaper that will be quoting here all the time. On the front page of the Daily Observer, though, it said U.S. Congress praises Liberia real reform efforts. But the leaked Assalamualaikum deal raises alarm at the same time. The U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee has commended Liberia for what it called strong progress towards a transparent, multi-use rail system under a truly independent operation framework, describing the move as an indicator of good governance that could drive economic growth and encourage U.S. investment in critical minerals. This tweet comes in the wake of ongoing ratification deliberations of the Ivanhoe Atlantic concession agreements in the national legislature, submitted recently by the President for constitutional review. Liberia is making strong progress towards a transparent multi-use rail system under a truly independent operation framework. This important step is an indicator of good governance and will drive economic growth and encourage U.S. investment in critical minerals, it says. The statement posted Thursday, November 6, 2025, on the committee's official X, formerly Twitter account, represents one of the most visible gestures of the United States government support for President Joseph Boakai's infrastructure reform agenda when it comes to the rail, particularly his push to ensure the Yekepa Buchanan Railway operates as an open multi-user corridor serving both Liberia and regional interests. However, though, the optimism for Washington collides sharply with what appears in the leaked draft of the Metal Liberia proposed Third Amendment to its Mineral Development Agenda, MDA, obtained by the Daily Observer. The draft grant AML renewed monopoly control over the railway and Buchanan Port, effectively undermining the very reform that the U.S. Congress has just endorsed. The U.S. committee's message aligned closely with Joseph Work's arrest agenda. We champion accountability, reform, and transparency across government systems. But the leaked AML document points a different picture, one where the company retains the exclusive right to operate the rail for decades, blocks the appointment of an independent operator, and weakens legislative and executive oversight. This tweet is more than praise, it's precious. A policy analyst told the Observer it signals that Washington expects Liberia to follow through on its promises of openness and fair competition, now return to a one-company monopoly as is written in this leak. However, Liberia's international credibility is at stake here. The U.S. congressional statement also endorses growing American interest in Liberia's role in global critical mineral supply chains, a key part of the Trump's strategy to diversify sources of iron ore and other inputs away from China. Liberia's ability to demonstrate transparency and equitable infrastructure access expertise will determine how confidence U.S. investors place in its mining and logistics sectors in the Republic of Liberia. The House Foreign Affairs Committee oversees all U.S. government aid to countries around the world and is regarded as one of the most powerful and influential organs of the United States Congress. Meanwhile, civil society voices in Monrovia are calling for the Worker administration to publish the AML draft and subject it to public and legislative scrutiny before any renegotiation. Liberia cannot afford to mortgage its infrastructure future behind closed doors, said one of the governance advocates. The Daily Observer will continue to monitor reaction from both the United States and Liberian officials as this controversy unfolds. Liberia, for some reason, takes one step forward and two steps behind. You just gotta praise. From the most powerful country in the world, are you doing the right thing? And then she gets a leaked memo giving ArcelorMittal exclusive right to veto, even in contradiction to the arrest agenda. Exclusive right over the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. It says wherever there is a conflict between the Liberian law and ArcelorMittal has first preference and the ability to veto, override the Constitution. So why are we shooting ourselves in the leg? They are now calling for this new amendment to be brought into the public glare. Nothing behind closed doors. On the home front, Operation Seat UL, I love this. Massive campaign to buy 22,000 armchairs, furnishing all UL classrooms with chairs for all students. This is the flagship university of the Republic of Liberia. The university has no seating capacity. They are going to push to buy 22,000 armchairs for the University of Liberia. This is 2022. The premier university of the Republic of Liberia in 2022 is starting a campaign to buy armchairs for its students across all campuses. Monrovia, though, responding to an urgent need for adequate student facilities, the Concerned Civil Group Voices of the Elders, VOTE, Friday announced the immediate launch of Operation Seat UL, a massive 6-month campaign dedicated to securing 22,000 new classroom chairs for the University of Liberia. The goal ensured that all 28,000 UL students across 223 classrooms on its 4 campuses finally have a seat during class, directly addressing the significant seating shortage at the university. You think at some point the populace, the people will rise up and say something to their lawmakers, to their leaders. The university is admitting that they do not have proper seating for children, men and women, I shouldn't call them children, at the flagship University of Liberia. Few months ago, we showed you a video of the gentleman that they call the sheriff at Hot FM, Mr. Roger, went to a school in Bond County, and kids, school after school across the country, kids were sitting on the floor, some were sitting on blocks. From kindergarten, now we are seeing this at the University of Liberia on Capitol Hill, right by the executive mansion. Seat shortage at the University of Liberia. This is a contributing writer from Page Africa, November 10, 2025, in the Education Department. The campaign was launched at University of Liberia Auditorium on Capitol Hill campus during a spirited and patriotic ceremony that brought in the campaign's first donation in the amount of $2,000 cash, US $6,000 in checks, and LD $2,360 in total. The minimum cost of one armchair is $20 US. Vote, in collaboration with the Alumni Association of the University of Liberia, is organizing the effort and calling on all Liberians to donate to this cause. Sister Mary Lorraine Brown, chairwoman of Operation Seat UL campaign, said it is a national issue. Vote understand too well that what impedes progress at the University of Liberia impedes progress in our nation, she said. Socially, morally, intellectually, and professionally, she stated. To this end, Vote is determined to lend its support, its expertise wherever they can to help the University of Liberia meet its many challenges. UL President Dr. Myean expressed gratitude to Vote and the Alumni Association for initiating a visionary campaign underscoring its importance and describing it as a significant effort toward enhancing a conducive environment for teaching and learning. I urge all of us to respond positively to the call of the two institutions, the president said. Together, let us restore beauty in learning, comfort in learning, pride, and create the enabling learning environments to this institution, the University of Liberia. The president donated $1,000 to the effort. Also speaking at the launch, the University of Liberia student interim president, Ms. Blio Tingbe, who hailed the effort, saying, for too long, students have stood during classes at the university. But because of Operation CUL, there will be no more standing at the flagship university. Will you send your child to a university where they sit on the floor or they stand for the duration of classes? Yet when you look at the budget, when you look at the Liberian budget and you see that $280 million or so is allocated to solving other Liberia's ills. That's roads, education, healthcare, you name it, everything for us. And then the budget has $900 million, almost $1 billion that goes into the pockets of big shots. I have a gentleman that will be coming on sometime next week or so. He says, Mr. Gayman, it doesn't matter how much we raise in the Republic of Liberia. Nothing will change because the more money we raise, the more raise these guys will give themselves. And when you look at the line items, you saw the chairman or the Speaker of the House. I think he increased his budget by $400,000. The more money that we raise that's supposed to go to the people goes right back into the pockets of the same folks that are doing us wrong. The paper continues to learn. Education deserves dignity. And it begins with at least a seat. Nagbe said. She donated $100 and pledged to mobilize additional resources from the student to support the campaign. Supporters of the campaign span cross-section of stakeholders. Notable among them was the immediate former vice president of Liberia and former member of the board of UL trustee, Madam Joelle Howard Taylor. Alan Taylor is a 1984 graduate of the A. Romeo Horton College of Business and Public Administration at the UL, formerly the Business College. The University of Liberia provided me with the foundation that has enabled me to be the person I am today, she says. Madam Taylor then pledged 200 chairs on behalf of the class of 1984 and an additional 50 chairs as her personal contribution. Others who also made donations included J. Orlando Boyce, Namusa Gilo, Rupel E. Marshall Sr., Ambassador Olubenke King Okweli, and Madam Esther Williams. The campaign will primarily use radio stations to encourage donations, while others actively engaging Liberians in the diaspora and in Liberia itself. Vote encourages donors to deposit their cash at the United Bank for Africa, UBA, in US dollar account number 530-305-5002-2117. And for your Liberia LD account, 530-305-5002-2124. I am reading this out because it is our contribution towards what's happening. We want you to get the information, support your nation, even if you are upset with your leaders. Do this for the young folks. Do this for the kids who are standing. As I just read, the story goes that in these classes, it's first come, first serve. The rest will have to stand the duration of the class. Vote encourages donors to deposit their cash. I will read this again. At the United Bank for Africa, even if you don't remember the number that I'm reading, when you go to the bank and ask for this particular campaign, you will be directed to somebody at the bank for you to make your donation. Whatever it is that you have, if you can buy one chair, go out there and buy your chair. You are doing it for the nation. You are not doing it for the government officials because their children are going to better schools. Most are not even in the country. So do it for the republic. Do it for the poor. To follow what we are saying here, on the front page of Front Page Africa, it says here, how the political elites consume Liberia 2026 spending plan. I didn't say this. If you just read if you just understood or listened or saw what I just read, in a nation where the University of the Republic does not have chairs, based on the analysis of the budget the budget that was just submitted by the president, the experts have gone through the budget so far, and they have determined that the political elites in our country, when we say consume, we mean they not eat all the money. The entire budget for 2026. The budget for the privileged in question mark. And it says here, Monrovia, the Liberian government's 2026 draft national budget projected at a record-breaking US $1.2 billion is being hailed by officials as a landmark for economic growth and fiscal expansion. Yet, beneath the glossy number lies a troubling narrative, one in which ordinary Liberians struggle on a rising cost, while political elites appear to reap the lion's share of the nation's wealth. I didn't write that. This is written by one of Front Page Africa's best, Selma Lomax. Selma Lomax writes, a subheading, a budget of record, but for whom? While the 1.2 billion figure is unprecedented in Liberian history, the distribution of the funds reveals stark inequalities. The central irony is that this historic budget comes at a time when the majority of Liberians face economic hardship. Inflation continues to push food, fuel, and basic commodities beyond the reach of ordinary citizens. Salaries for teachers, nurses, and other public servants remain delayed. Unemployment is rampant. And the rural communities still lack basic services such as clean water and electricity. Yet, the lawmaker tasked with addressing these challenges have quietly ensured that their own coffers are swell first. The national legislature allocation alone has risen sharp. Let me read this again. The national legislature's allocation alone has risen sharply from $41 million last year in 2024 to $51.7 million in the proposed 2026 budget. If this is not wickedness, I don't know what it is. The distribution among lawmakers is telling. The House of Representatives received UF 31.046.749. Basically, to break this down, that's $31 million for the $6,749. And the Senate by itself, they received $16.4 million. Between the two of them, you got almost $52 million. The Speaker's office, $1.8 million. The Deputy Speaker, Thomas Fala, got $1.4 million. And the Pro Tem got $958,000. These figures do not account for additional constituency disbursement and benefits that often go unreported. So what we are giving you here, according to this article, is just the tip of the iceberg. Luxury over necessity. The draft budget also earmarked $3.6 million from the Public Sector Investment Plan, PSIP, for the renovation of Capitol building, financed by part of the $200 million signature bonus for a settlement town. While this bonus was originally touted as funding for infrastructure and public development, a portion will now finance lawmakers' offices for their own comforts. Furthermore, the legislature travel, goods, and services budget has jumped from $11.3 million to $14.6 million, a 29% increase, primarily to cover foreign trips, vehicle maintenance, and administrative perks. Meanwhile, hospitals lack essential medicines, schools remain dilapidated, and communities continue to live in infrastructure neglect. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the plight of the Liberian people. The scale of disparity is staggering. The legislature's $51.7 million allocation is nearly 4 times the budget for agriculture. Joseph Boyka said agriculture is a primary line item in their red agenda. But they put only $13.7 million in the agriculture. This is an administration, this is a government that says we will be food sufficient. Almost half of the national health budget, $101 million, and exceed combined funding for youth development, sports, and tourism. Critics argue this is not simple miscalculation, but a deliberate prioritization of private privilege over public welfare. Agriculture, the president have talked about agriculture. This, he says, is a trademark of his. But $13 million for the whole nation. While the government projects $1.2 billion budget, skeptics question whether this revenue target is even achievable. Historical collection trends suggest shortfalls may be inevitable. For instance, Liberia collected only $252 million in income tax, income and profit taxes for September 2025, falling short of the projected $306 million. The 2026 projection of $365 million appears overly optimistic. Other revenue sources include GTS, property taxes, import duties are all likely to underperform. Conservative estimates indicate that the government could be at least $120 to $135 million short of its budget target, raising concerns about fiscal sustainability. The fiscal year 2026 budget increases funding for security agencies. The Liberia National Police raises from $21.5 million to $25.7 million. The Liberian Immigration Services went from $7.4 million to $10.7 million. The Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency more than doubled its from $3.1 million to $7.6 million. Meanwhile, the National Fire Services allocation remains static at $2.9 million. Recurrent expenditure projected at $929.6 million covers salaries, goods, and services required for day-to-day government operation. PSRP spending stands at $281.5 million, intended for infrastructure and community projects. The whole nation, you get a meager $281.5 million to do everything in the country. But the big boys and big girls get $929.6 million. Salaries and perks and benefits and travel. Yet, the public remains very skeptical, noting that recurring expenditure on non-essential items often dwarf investment in the critical public services. Well, if you have a people that do not prioritize their own people, when the scripture says charity begins at home, the people in Liberia have taken it, the legislative people, government people in Liberia, the big shots have taken that to another level. The government charity begins with themselves. Basically, that's what they are saying. It says public reaction to the budget have been mixed, though. Civil society activist Martin K. Colley criticized the increase in legislative spending, saying $41.3 million was spent on the legislature in 2025. You have increased it to $51.7 million in 2026. But we should be celebrating this. We should celebrate the budget for reaching $1.2 billion when almost all the money will be consumed again by a few greedy and corrupt politicians. He said, we won't. Liberian citizen Dory Pay echoed concerns about equity. We look forward to the ripple effect on the lives of ordinary people, teachers, health workers, security personnel. It should not be redirected to the privileged minority, lawmakers who are now considering buying cars for their office staff at the expense of the taxpayers. Others like Zephaniah Smith offer a more measured perspective. He said, this is encouraging news, but it will only be meaningful if our approach to development changes. Even with a budget exceeding $1 billion, if we continue to prioritize high recurring expenditure over capital investment, that $1 billion will have actually little real impact on the Liberian people. Liberia draft 2026 budget reflects both ambition and inequality. While the headline figures of $1.2 billion suggest progress and looks good, the reality is a stark reminder of political priorities that favor a select few over the majority. With questionable revenue projections and recurrent expenditures consuming large portions of the public funds, ordinary Liberians may continue to bear the cost of their privilege. As Parliament debates the draft, the question remains, can Liberia reconcile the promise of growth with the needs of its people? Or will the 2026 budget become another chapter in the story of fiscal indulgence at the expense of the poor? Mr. Taiwo was right when he said, it doesn't matter how much we raise, how big the budget is, it's only going to increase the luxury of those at the top, less than 1%. How in the world will the Speaker of the House get a $400,000 raise? Usually in the West and everywhere else where good governance is, you get a raise when you do an excellent job. Your bosses will tell you you have done an excellent job, you have brought some revenue, or we have accomplished everything that we needed to accomplish, and you deserve a raise. Liberia did not accomplish everything or anything that she wanted to do, as evidenced by the State Department's report here, as evidenced by the government-owned shortfalls, as evidenced by the travels. No one deserves a raise in the Republic of Liberia. The roads, the bridges, the schools, They deserve a raise, not the legislature. This is not going to go down well with our partners abroad who think that they are doing us a favor, only to find out that those they are helping make more money than themselves. These are fat cats. These cats are eating their own babies. The future of the Republic of Liberia, they are sitting on the floors. They are standing up. They are standing up on their feet at the University of Liberia, taking notes. No seating capacity, no chairs. And you expect them to compete on the global stage. And when you see a University of Liberia graduate, now all of them, some, many of them though, you read their writing and their diction. You wonder, what are we bequeathing to our children? You know, democracy has a way of doing things, and Mr. Otawo have always said this, maybe the democracy that was introduced to us is not working. Because our Constitution says we should elect people among us that look like us, that sounds like us, one of our own. We should look among ourselves and elect our own. So you are electing folks who can barely read, some cannot read. And those who can read, I can tell you maybe 50 or 70% of them cannot comprehend. And those are two different things. People say, yes, they can read, they are literate. Can they actually write bills? Or they will rely on consultants to write these bills that they have no clue about. One of my best authors, one of the best writers of all time in the social sciences, C. Wright Mills. One of the greatest writers in social science from Columbia and the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He wrote one of his best, it's called The Corporate Elite. Liberia's democracy is a conglomeration of corrupt elites. And what makes the corporate elites and the Liberian legislative elites so dangerous is that they have formed for themselves a union or a cartel. That a John Doe who wants to do well comes to run for office, they will join and support one of their kind to make sure that you are not allowed on the stage. This is how they protect themselves. They make sure that you who have all the idea, maybe not all the idea, but somebody who means well, You look at the commissaries of the world, they will band together, make sure that Alexander Cummings comes nowhere. I guess the closest he's ever going to get to the executive mansion would be oldest Congo town. When you give power to those who do not know how to leverage power to serve their constituency, and you give them a decade, 9 years, guarantee employment, 6 years of exploitation. This is what we are against. They know each other. They hang out in the same places. They walk around with their cars and their security and their 3 or 4 different cell phones and walkie-talkies in some cases. They walk around with bags of money. Bags and bags of money. Notice that when it's time to pay employees, sometimes they do it by agencies or by ministries. I think they think the Liberian people are gullible and stupid. When they have no money in the bank to pay their employee, they say checks will be delayed because we are updating our system. Who does that? Only in the Republic of Liberia. Let me welcome some of our friends here. Martin Willie, thank you very much for tuning in, as usual. Rocket KD12, thank you for tuning in. I don't know where you're tuning in from, but it's all right. Donation for children of what nation? The Republic of Liberia. Joanne Taluo, good evening. I am closely following from Monrovia. Welcome, welcome. Good old Johnny be good. He said this draft budget is indicative of unpatriotism and insensitivity to the population of the Republic of Liberia. We want to welcome the legendary Mozart Dennis. He said, good evening, TCA. Good evening to you as well. On another note, expert question: Liberia deal with Ivanhoe as legal bilateral gaps surface. Officials acquainted with the agreement say there is no evidence that Guinea officially recognized HPX's project as an approved infrastructure project under Articles 5.1. November 10, 2025, Monrovia, Liberia. So when Liberia and Guinea signed the implementation agreement in October 2019, it was hailed as a landmark for regional cooperation, a carefully constructed framework to ensure that any mining company seeking to use Liberia Rail and port infrastructure will do so transparently, equitably, and in harmony with both nations' interests. But fast forward to Concession and Access Agreement, CAA, recently signed between the government of Liberia and Ivanhoe, Liberia, and questions are now being raised over whether the spirit and procedure of that 2019 agreement were never respected. The implementation agreement, the rule book that should have guided all access deals. The 2019 implementation agreement was no ceremonial document. It was signed as a legal backbone for all future cross-border infrastructure use between both countries. It established a clear multi-layer approval process. Article 5 required a two-step procedure: a request for eligibility vetted by Guinea, followed by a request for access submitted to Liberia, reviewed by both governments' monitoring committees, and endorsed by Interministerial Committee, IMC. Article 9 established these committees to prevent unilateral action and ensure joint oversight, while Article 7 tasks a technical secretariat to develop a standardized access agreement template guaranteeing consistency, fairness for all operators. Yet, when the CAA emerged, there were no evidence that these institutional steps were ever followed. No record of mandatory approval from Oversight Committee. Under the IA, no access agreement could be deemed valid unless reviewed and approved by both the monitoring committees in both countries. However, if there is no public record that this process was honored, no minutes of the IMC deliberation has been published, zero monitoring committee report exists in the public domain, officials acquainted with the agreement say there is no evidence that Guinea has officially recognized HPX project as an approved infrastructure project under Article 5.1. Instead, the CAA appears to have been negotiated directly between Liberia and HPX, effectively bypassing the very institutions created to ensure transparency and bilateral consent. CAA ignores the harmonization requirement of the implementation agreement. One of the implementation agreement core principle is harmonization, aligning both nations' laws, custom procedure, and fee structures to ensure fairness and predictability. Article 4.1 calls for non-discriminatory treatment and equal access for Guinea operators, while Article 8.2, 8.3 require both countries to harmonize regulations and develop common access pricing and safety standards. Yet the CAA, as currently structured, operates as a standalone commercial deal with its own tax regime, fee schedule, and operational framework, none of which are harmonized with Guinean law or subject to bilateral oversight. By setting its own access fees and governance structure, experts warn that Liberia may be breached. The uniform principle established by this framework, risking the erosion of a cooperative cross-border framework in favor of fragmented unilateral agreement to benefit the few. The investigation also found that Article 9.3 of the IA required a model access agreement to be developed before any specific deal could be signed. This standardized template was meant to safeguard both states' interests, covering custom, liability, environmental protection, and dispute resolution. All of these, bottom line, were bypassed by the Republic of Liberia. MCC, that's the Monrovia City Corporation, admits uncertainty over ending pollution at the historic Palm Grove Cemetery. Even the Monrovia City Corporation had given up. November 10, 2025, Monrovia. The historic Palm Grove Cemetery, once a revered resting place for Liberia's first president and other national figures, has now become a major environmental and public health concern in the heart of Monrovia. Once admired for its solemn significance, the cemetery has deteriorated into a dump site and a haven for drug users, with Monrovia City Corporation struggling to manage the growing population in the cemetery. For years, open graves and uncontrolled garbage disposal have transformed the cemeteries surrounding into a nightmare of nearby residents. The MCC, though, recently blocked the road running through the cemetery to prevent vehicles from passing through, citing heavy pollution and ongoing garbage disposal operations. We can't breathe good air anymore. Mary Wilson, a mother of 3 who lives on Garguah Street, told Front Page Africa that the stench from the waste piles has made life unbearable in the city. Zogos, drug addicts, will steal from us. We will not die, though. But this one we are in, where we cannot even breathe good air, is completely killing us. She lamented. We have small children here, and they are getting sick because of the garbage all around us. Let me welcome the Honorable J. Victor Nagbe.
Mr. Gayman, it's good to be with you. Happy Monday. Let me also say happy Monday to our audience. Thanks for following us. Thanks for joining us. Please share the show. Invite a friend. Let's talk Liberia.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Did you welcome some of our audience members yet?
I did already.
Okay, good.
And we'll do that again as we move on. But this woman is saying we can't breathe. We can't breathe air anymore. Mary Wilson said, a mother of 3 who lives on Garguah Street told Front Page Africa that the stench from the waste piles has made life unbearable. Zogos and drug dealers can steal, but they can't kill us. But now we are dying. We cannot breathe good air, and the air pollution is killing us. A mother of 3 is now relegated and believing and agreeing that her fate is what it is, and she'd rather live with the Zogos than the stench and the pollution that is now killing. She's saying we used to be afraid of Zogos for Zogo killing us, but now Zogo is now becoming our friends. We are being killed. We are dying from the stench, from the smoke, from the pollution. Now, this is terrible.
Yeah. I'm not a doctor, but I imagine as a student of science that indeed there are consequences for continuing to inhale these fumes that are coming from the dump site. I mean, I don't know what it is that the current lawmaker is doing, but the one before him, he made it clear that we shouldn't have expected him to go out in the street and pick up trash and throw it out. That was not, But again, if you are the manager, you're always to inspire your people to do the job. But yeah, so this is our situation. I mean, you've been to Monrovia, you're on your way there again. Almost everywhere you go, there's a pile, especially this side that's in question. The side of the Center Street area towards the beach, that area is, towards the cemetery and all of that. There's a lot of filth in there. I mean, piles and piles and piles, mountains. I mean, I remember the last time my wife and I, we drove around, down that UN Drive area, or Abijadi area, and those places, you just see the piles and mountains of trash, I don't know how this is happening, and either they're not cleaning up or they can't keep up with the trash. I don't know, but it is crazy.
Musa Ability, a mechanic who lives on Central Street, who lives on Central Street and operates a garbage along UN Drive, also raised an alarm over the environmental hazard. We are affected by the pollution from the garbage to the extent that they had to close the road. Ability said, when MCC opened the road for cars to pass, when would they do this? It looks like Central Street between the gates and where they closed, it looked like the street has been used now for additional garbage disposal. Central Street is now temporarily a holding site. Can you imagine? In the middle of the city, responding to the growing public outcry, MCC communication officer Asa Dix admitted that the city government is aware of the pollution and its impact on.
Exactly. So now it is good that you are aware of it, and so what are you gonna do? I mean, you and I think there was a time we were on the show here, if not here, we played clips of the city mayor, you know, in the street with Julie Andy and all these people, you know, Baba Too Sweet and all these people, you know, they were in the streets trying to clean the city, and a lot of us thought that, you know, we were beginning to turn the corner, you know, but it doesn't seem that way, you know. But I wanted to go back a little bit to the budget. I heard you talking about it when I was getting ready to come. Yeah, what the CMC is doing, Musa Ability has issued, you know, an RSVP notice. Tomorrow, the CMC is doing a deep dive into the budget. So right now, our guys are in the kitchen. They're cooking the budget right now. You know, they're trying to take it apart. And tomorrow, we're going to do our analysis of the budget at 3 o'clock Liberian time. Join us. Look out. You know, the CMC will be coming out to do an analysis of the budget. So I wanted to put that out there tomorrow, please. You know, 3 o'clock Liberian time, which I think is going to be around 10 o'clock here on the East Coast. You know, there's a lot of talk now. A lot of people are beginning to take the budget apart. Apparently, there are lots of increases. At some place, I read the current speaker, you know,
got a raise.
Exactly, got a raise. You know, raise for what? You know, yeah. He was appropriated, I think, $1.4 million now. He stepped it up to $1.8 million.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Honorable Nagbe, on your job where you work in the real life, when do you get a raise?
No, we you know, I belong to the union, so we negotiate, you know, our contract are usually a 3-year period. After every 3 years, you know, we negotiate an increase, and it's usually, you know, not that much of a great percentage, you know, 3% here, 5% here.
But the idea here is your negotiation will be based on performance merit.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't just get up and say, you know, I have 1.4 this year. I got 1.8. You just gave yourself arbitrary rate. It doesn't work that way. This is what
exactly. It can just be because, you know, last year I got this, so this year now I should get this. You know, and again, you know, it goes back to what a lot of us were talking about here. All of this fight over removing speaker and all of that. Now we can see why, you know, this thing was a life and death situation for some of these people. You know, during the fight to remove Kun, and to remove Kova, Kun had not even been legitimized. He has broken down the news of that. He's broke down his old house, just renovating. You know, and now you can understand he has, you know, a need. You gotta finish the renovation, you know. But yeah, this is what our guys are doing, and this is why people who are talking about historic 1.2 budget. I don't think the size of the budget really should matter more than what is being done with the budget. You know, you increase the budget to $1.2 billion. What is it that we're getting out of it? And I heard you say that $280 million. That's all we got to do. Everything, $280 million out of a budget of $1.2 billion. So that's about $980 million. Just going to, you know, salary recurring expenditure, salary jolly. You know, Kun is increasing his office budget. That's what increased the budget of $1.2 billion. It doesn't mean you're going to get any extra services out of the government. No. They give you 23%. The rest of it, they're going to be flying all over the place. You know, you want to go to Lofa from Monrovia, charter a jet. You want to go to Hapa from Monrovia, charter a flight. You know, That's all we'll get.
I'm looking at the budget line here. We discussed it before, but it says here 2026 budget transfer to war crime court, zero in that line item, zero for this war crime court.
And yet they expect the war crime court to generate revenue somehow. Because what? Because they're going after Fina Bondo. They think that money is going to come into government revenue right away. You know how very, very infantile.
No, that is just the war crime court. That is.
Well, it's just not even the asset recovery. It's just
asset recovery line item 00. Zero. But then it says here the asset recovery team is going to contribute 10 million out of the total budget.
So let me understand this, Jerome, right? When you read the way outfits like the asset recovery or the war crimes court, these are people who have to conduct extensive investigations, right? Sometimes they may follow the money to foreign countries. They need travel. They need this. They need that. How is it that we give them nothing and yet we expect them to, to
come up with money?
To come up how? How do we even expect them to do their work?
That's the voodoo economics or wackonomics or foyanomics. This is what we are hearing. This is what we are seeing. And this is Office of War and Economic Crime Court, 0. Asset recovery, 0. And I'm looking at the budget here, and I'm looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, what is going on here? But then, that we discuss other places. Josiah Joker needs an accountant, someone said. The CSA budget now went 2024 from 13.7 million. It increased in 2025 to 15.9 million. But miraculously, 2026, it went down to 4 million.
What is happening? So what are they doing? What are they doing in 2023 and 2024 that they will not be doing? I mean, 24 and 25 that they will not be doing in 2026?
They came in poor, no homes, no car. Maybe they bought the homes now, they bought a car, they were everything now. So we'll get back to the budget in detail. But let's go to this here. The ex-president George Weah rallied global support against racism. Says it has no place in football. This is written by Jaheim T. Tumu. And it is a good one as usual. It says here, Monrovia, former Liberian president football icon George Manuel Weah has once again returned to the international spotlight. This time as the honorary captain and chair of FIFA's Players Voice Panel on Racism. This new global initiative aims to tackle discrimination and abuse in football. Weah was appointed early September 2025 to lead the 16-member panel, a role he accepted with enthusiasm. The panel is tasked with advertising FIFA on strategies to combat racism, promote equality, and amplify players' voices in shaping the future of the game. On Saturday, November 8th, the team convened in Rabat, Morocco, for its inaugural meeting. Weah and several football legends from around the world discussed collective solutions to eliminate racism in the sport. Before the meeting, the former Ballon d'Or winner sat down for an exclusive interview with FIFA, reflecting on his journey, the purpose of the panel, and his ongoing fight for fairness and unity in football. I want to begin by thanking FIFA Players Voice Panel for including me in this team. we have said it's important for someone like me, a former footballer and a former leader of Liberia. My voice mattered because I played the game and experienced racism firsthand. I believe I can contribute significantly to the fight against racism. We are underscore his evolution from a football star to a symbol of resilience, unity, and leadership. What we are trying to do is to keep racism out of sports, he emphasized. It's not good for sports. So this is the effort we are making to make sure that we all universally fight against this scourge. We have described football as a universal language that transcends barriers, fosters unity among people of different nationalities and beliefs. Football brings unity and development. It enhances humanity, he stated. It is one thing that unites so many people. Wherever there is a game, you can see individuals from every background united by the same passion. He added, the essence of the game is to unite, to enjoy, to have fun, to love the game, but racism takes away from that spirit. That's why we must combat it universally. It has no place in football. Weah remains more than a football legend. He is a living testimony to perseverance and purpose. In football, you always meet twice, he concluded. So when we play, we must play with love, respect, and understanding. That is what makes the game a beautiful sport. During the inaugural meeting, FIFA President Gianni Infantino praised Weah's appointment and the mission of the players, voice panel describing it as a central FIFA commitment to equality and inclusion. We are here in Rabat, Morocco, for the meeting of the player voice panel chaired by Honorable George Weah, a great legend, a great leader, and an excellent chairman of the panel. The chairman said, this panel has the important task of raising its voice to defend players from any form of abuse based on discrimination and racism. This is one of FIFA's top priorities following our Congress in Bangkok in 2024 and the United States Against Racism by all 211 FIFA member associations. So this is good news for our country. This is good news for the sports. Racism, tribalism, sectionalism, these things do not belong in sports. And I think is a worthwhile fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we get these reports of how, our players who come, especially, players of color, how much abuse they get, from these people, these spectators. They treat them like gladiators, who are supposed to come in the theater to entertain them. And they insult them, they call them names, they throw things at them and all of that, and yeah, the number of people have tried to raise their voices. I hope the former president, he has a big platform. Just like you said, he made his name, on the football pitch. He's well known, he has a big voice. So hopefully he will help and bring some awareness to this. These people are providing service for these people. And I don't think they're asking for anything more than the respect that they deserve, But, I've seen some of the reaction that when some of these players cry on the football field, because of the level of abuse, that they get, especially, from the European audience. So hopefully the former president will help, bring awareness to this. I think it was the World Cup 1994 or one of those. Not 94, I think 2004, one of these, where the team was what was it? love, no hate, or something like that. Almost every player were wearing that, and this it still persists. It's just the sad reality of our time. Racism is still alive and well. But it's unfortunate because they love these people because of what they do on the football pitch, but the hatred for the color just can't seem to get out of their way, and at some point in time it overcomes them, and they behave the way they do. Some of them have been banned from these stadiums, for their unruly behavior towards some of the players. So yeah, hopefully the former president, will be able to split his time between, coming back to power, politicking locally, and going on the international stage, and promoting, the love for sport. And maybe people like Jane McBorough will come in and tell us how the president intends to do that. Sarah is watching and listening. We're interested in knowing how the president intends to split his time between.
You call, we had an issue with soon pop
So
up. Kehleboe. So you call the vice president, he pop up.
It pops up. So, but yeah, the president, I think there's no better person to do this than George Manuel Weah. He's well known internationally. He's a legend. So, hopefully, yeah, he will help to raise the awareness. Look, we all bleed the same blood. And this is really, for ages now, this message has been propagated. Propagated, and still, there are people who just don't like us because of the way we look.
Well,
it is everywhere.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's not just the way we look. It is a class thing, right?
Right.
A guy who went to school all his life. He's a doctor. He's an electrical engineer. He's a scientist. He makes $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year. That boy from Mali that came up with barefoot making $10 million.
Exactly.
So exactly. It goes. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. There she.
She popped right out of the. I know how to smoke them out, Jerome.
Yeah, they're coming out. So it is not just the color. It is, a little envy, a little jealousy. I went to school all my life, and look what I do for the world, and look how much I make. Same thing we can say about you teachers, right? Teachers. Everybody beat up on teachers, but everybody did have a teacher at one point.
Yeah.
But when they make it to the top, they don't say, let's get our teachers raises, right? Let's make them one of the highest paying professions. They don't do that.
No.
They beat up on teachers, but we all were brought up by some teacher. So yeah, but let's go. We got a sad news here. This is a sad news. When you look at our eye, you look at our face, and you look at our hair.
Right.
Who does she remind you of?
She looks. Let me see again.
That's. Well, this is sad news. This is, I think, the last daughter of the late President William V.S. Tubman.
Oh. I should have recognized her.
Yes. It says here, Mother Nyenwolo, Elizabeth Catherine Tubman, daughter of the late president, is dead. Death announcement, sunrise, September 8th, 1945. Sunset, November 5th, 2025. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. 2 Timothy 4:7, King James Version. This is to announce with deep sorrow the passing of Mother Nyenwolo, Elizabeth Catherine Tubman, at the age of 80. She transitioned to be with the Lord on Wednesday, November 5th, 2025 at 12 p.m. in Monrovia, Liberia. She was predeceased by her father, William V. Vakanara Tubman, Shedrick Tubman, 19th President of the Republic of Liberia, and her mother, Madam Latiwa Wright from Sierra Leone. We got problem with the 7 new folks, huh?
Yeah.
This is sad news. We'll come back to the 7 new thing. She leaves among her laws several children, grandchildren, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins, and a host of relatives and friends in and out of Liberia. Funeral arrangement will be announced later. This announcement was brought in by the family of the deceased. May her soul rest in peace. You know, for contact information, Wilhelmina Kuku Tucker, sister. Alethea Tubman, sister. Maynard Cox George, nephew. Zora Anthony, niece. William Gabriel Talcott, nephew. Lynette Baker, daughter. And they have all the number listed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have, just like the Americans have their Kennedys, Liberia has its Tubmans. Tubman is a legendary name, is a legendary figure, great leader of our nation. And as that generation fades, we owe it to them for the service to the country, especially a public policy that made a difference in the lives of the entire nation. The unification policy, the open door policy that this president brought to bear on the nation opens the country, united our people, brought together our people as one people. You from that side of the country will not hear Torgbean and his legacy.
Yeah. You know, it's a funny thing, and you can look at it both ways. These American Liberians, you know, they had a way. Sometimes, you know, they would take you under their wing. You know, you'll be you be you'll be the groupie, right? The posse. And there are times, you know, you're like the errand boy, you know, mama, go get that thing for you. And then there are times, right? They'll treat you like equal. You know what I mean? My dad had a relationship with William V. Tubman Jr., Shed Tubman.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was not very educated, you know, the royal education, you know, you reach 8th grade, you know what I mean? My uncle, Tia's father, you know, Tia Nagbe is my cousin, he's my uncle's son. So Uncle William, that was Tia's father, he was more educated than my dad. But my dad, because of his, you know, his activism, where we come from up to this day, we have a road now, but that road is not passable. And that's one of the things I'm trying to get Musa Bede to go and focus on my place there. But anyway, my dad was advocating for the motor road to come through my place. And by doing that, he was going to Harper every night. And that's how he ran to Shed Tubman. They became buddies. You know, even though my dad and Shed Tubman were not anywhere near being on the same level. But, you know, he used to call my dad his friend. My dad would go to Harper. At one time, I went with my dad, you know. And so I kind of got close to the Tubman family in many ways. You know, they had a sister, Mitty Tubman. Mitty Tubman used to be right there on Maryland Avenue. You know, that's where we used to be, you know, where Seleke Kromah, those who know Harper. Anyway, so my dad took my sister and my brother, my senior brother and sister, and put them under the wing of Shed Tubman. And Shed Tubman was a father figure to my sister up to the time my sister got married and everything. I'd known them very well. I used to go to see him on the old road there. You know, you would leave here and carry messages and carry envelopes for me from my sister. So I got to know them very well. You know, that's the point I'm trying to make. They could be very friendly and very friendly and very nice. And then there were times, you know, they could be so difficult to deal with. You know, and so I dealt with, you know, the Tubman families. They had a
you got message there.
What did they say here? Tumbling.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidentally, talking about Tia, I ran into Tia number a few minutes ago, and we talked about you, Senior Kamara. Yeah, I said I was on the phone with him just as I was coming home. So Tomalin is right. We just spoke Tia and myself. But yeah, that's my little invite. We don't call each other cousin. I call him my little brother. Tia is my younger brother. His older brother was my age group. You know, his late brother Tony. He went to TC. You know, genius that he was. That guy, you know, and Tia himself is very smart. You know, I think I come from the other side of the family.
Yeah. You other side.
Yeah. If you know Nigwali Warner, Tia is on the same kind of level. You know, you know, the children got some smart about them, Jerome. You know what I'm saying? When Nigwali ready to break things down, you think that computer working in his head, you know. But anyway, coming back to the Totman story. So I think I met this lady, I'm not sure, but they had a place right behind City Hall. There where they had a tall building. There where most of the Totmans would go. My sister, you know, and the girl who and her were kind of age group. Not Valerie. Jesus, I forgot her name. Anyway, that's what we still go and hang out. So I know a lot of the Totman families. Let me make it short. Let me just extend my sympathies to the Totman family for the passing, you know, of Mother Totman. I think this is Elizabeth. I'm not sure if I met her, but I know I heard a lot about her. You know, you know, sympathy. And let me also wish Chief Tomalin. I know he and Dr. Peabody. I'm not sure if Pewee is with them, but let me wish them well. The last time they told us they are in country now, you know, so I hope all is going well. I'm getting messages of people who are watching us, but they got to log off because they say the internet is so bad. I think it's raining. So Chief Tomalin, I hope all is well, my brother. You guys take it easy back there, you know. Eat some of the organic food, you know. I know you're very careful, so you'll be okay. But let me wish you guys all the best.
Yeah, so on behalf of the closing argument, we would like to extend our sincere sympathy, sorrow to the Totmans. No matter what you say, I am saying public policy matters. The open door policy and the unification policy that were brought on by President William V. Totman made all the difference.
Yeah.
That policy today made Joseph Boakai president. That policy today made Joseph Boakai president. Made someone like Cohn Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Made somebody named Yobli Kanda pro tem of the
Senate. Somebody named George Weah.
Somebody named George Weah.
Yeah.
Became president of the Republic of Liberia. And because of that policy, a woman there being president of the Republic of Liberia. So when you're talking about public policy and its impact on the people,
yeah,
one man, two things he did. He did a lot of other stuff. He built a capital. He did a lot of great stuff. But those two policies. So whenever the name Totman comes up, to us, it's synonymous with the candidates here. When you say anything about a candidate, you step in on hard rock.
Yeah, that's a very big name in Liberia. Totman and Talbots, you know, the Totman and Talbot family. Yeah, I mean, the Henrys, they all had, you know, but like you're saying, they're always first among equals. And yeah, the Totman, they are like our candidates, you're right. The same, you know, the same dynamics, you know, they call it what, dynasty here or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just like A.B. Towa was on his way to being president, Shed Topman was on his way to being president of Liberia as well.
Yes.
You know, and these people, that's what they did. They groomed their children, you know, and their children's children, you know, and that's how it was for so many years in our country. And it has some good and some bad to it. But the good thing was there was stability because you knew the line of succession. You know what I'm saying? There was no confusion about that. You know, you knew who was who was next in line. And so they kept the place stable for quite a long time. Howbeit that a number of our people were being denied, you know, access to our own resources, and that has never been a pleasing thing to all of us, the natives who were denied for a very long time. And as we sit with them and break bread, we'll continue to tell them we never liked it, we don't like it. It is a fact. It happened. you know. But they did a lot for our country too. I mean, they kept the place stable, like I said, you know. And Totma, you know, he did a lot, brought the country on the international stage with what you're talking about, the open door policy. Even though some people said, you know, open front door, open back door, whatever it was, meaning just as the people came, they took out whatever, you know what I'm saying. But notwithstanding, it helped to kind of raise the profile of the country. I know Larry King and others are listening. I'm sure they might have a different opinion and all of that. But for you and I, the layman, you know, they did their part, you know. So again, sympathies to the Tubman family for the passing of one of, I think, the matriarch. You said the last of the direct
Yes,
offspring.
that's how the family the right.
Yeah. So you know.
I think the same group. I think you know Maka Wright, Councilor Wright, that group, and we have one of the Wrights in our family here, the CMC, Renee Matthews.
Yes,
it's a right
yes.
from Seleke Kromah.
That's right.
So we are so intertwined.
It's a small country.
Very, very small. We are all intertwined.
Yeah.
Here, the next topic is in Liberia set to unveil Natural Capacity Atlas, a COP30 to attract green investment. This is another strategy. The green investment. Belém, Brazil, the government of Liberia, through the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, is proud to announce the official launch of the Natural Capacity, the Natural Capital Atlas of Liberia, a landmark publication and immense documentary paired with a data-driven tool that highlights the nation's natural heritage, its rich biodiversity, the ecosystem, services to provide and promote potential for tourism and investment. With the collaboration of the Environmental Protection Agency led by Dr. Emmanuel Yuri Yakpawolo, Executive Director of the United Nations Development Program and partner, the atlas was created in partnership with the Forestry Department, the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism, and a team of consultants represented by the International Focus magazine. The atlas is the flagship publication that combines scientific data, community knowledge, and visual storytelling to promote conservation, ecotourism, green investment, and climate action. The initiative aligns with Liberia's commitment under the Paris Agreement, Sustainable Development Goals, and the Rest Agenda. Liberia government, in collaboration with UNDP, and partners will launch. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry to bother you, but it looks like we're off the air. I'm getting people telling me, I don't know what the guys are, but I thought our stream, our live stream has ended. I don't know whether my and the guys can confirm there.
Let me see.
I'm getting messages here that we're off the air. I don't know how true this is.
Okay, let me make a quick
Chief
call.
Tomalin, if you're still getting us, Chief, let us know.
Yeah, give us thumbs up.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up. But the people here who are telling me that we're off the air.
We are talking to ourselves.
Yeah, we're talking to ourselves.
It's all right.
Yeah.
What does Scripture say? Wherever two are assembled,
right.
It means right. So God is here. Just in case we are not off the air.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting indication that we're on.
Okay.
Someone is telling me we're on. Yeah. So,
okay. So
okay. That's a good sign.
Yeah. So go to your Facebook page and see.
Yeah, I'm about
you can verify, see we are on.
Yeah, I'm checking that now.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just coming into the show, thank you very much for tuning in. We are doing the best we can to bring you everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
We bring you the facts. We bring you the articles as they are written. We will cite the writers, the authors, and everything else in between, especially current events as they appear in the paper.
No, I don't know how this person is getting us, but we're not on.
Okay, my friend, if you are bootlegging somewhere,
Yeah.
then let me see here. Let me make sure.
Yeah, double check that.
Okay,
Um,
Myean is calling me. Okay, the folks in Monroe say we are on.
okay.
I
Okay,
don't
then.
know. Maybe
That's
they are
good.
maybe they are talking about maybe the YouTube channel.
Let me check that too.
Yeah, check the YouTube channel. Make sure that we are on there.
Yeah.
But yes, there you go, Mr. Garguah. It looks like it's cool. It's getting cooler now
Yeah.
in your neck of the woods.
Robert got to come here with a turtleneck and all that. Looking all
Yeah,
nice.
you know what brought him in, right?
What?
You know what brought him on, right?
No.
I just talk about tourism,
Oh, oh, you did.
Yeah, I talk about the COP3.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
to attract green investment, and that's his
Yeah.
area of expertise. He loved that in tourism. He's
No.
here. So we are talking about environmental tourism. We're talking about ecotourism. You name it, it's all here. So this is where we are, guys. If you are having problem tuning into the if you don't get us on YouTube, you let us know. Let's publish the YouTube channel. Some folks are
Yeah.
saying they can't get us.
Just give us an indication. I'm getting only
Yes.
one person here saying
Robert
that.
Garguah, welcome. Okay. Let me see. Mix Maboro, Mr. Gay, if you are getting us, let us know. Let me see. Are you on the Facebook page, Mr. Nagbe?
Yes, I am, but I don't see it.
Okay. Let me double check here. Because let me see. Let me see the closing argument. Okay, closing argument today.
Okay, so this person is saying they're getting it on the radio.
Yes.
So,
Someone telling me too, they're getting it on the radio. So we
yeah,
are on the radio, but we are not.
we're not on the internet.
We are not on the internet. So with that being said, we will let's close it down at 6 o'clock if we can. We are not
Yeah,
on the air.
yeah.
Robert Garguah, welcome.
I think
Thank
we
you.
should get,
Thank
I
you.
think
Thank
Raul,
you.
we should get it down to Raul. I think he might have a lot on his chest. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, Robert, I don't know if you saw this article,
What
but
article?
and
What does it say?
this one about tourism.
Liberia set to unveil what? Unveil what? Go left. Go right. Go right. Unveil Najwa. Go keep going. Capital outlets at COP30 to attract green investors. Okay, so how does that impact tourism?
Well,
I learned the EPA, I think director is leading our delegation or something like that.
Oh, okay. I mean, what's his name? What's her name? Miss Cooper. I don't know her personally. I definitely don't, but I do know people in her circle, that I've spoken with. I'm talking about the new managing director for the tourism authority that was just appointed by the president.
Oh, Jenny
Uh,
Cooper, she is now. I thought
yeah,
there's
she
something.
is.
Oh,
Yeah,
is that why they're taking her?
yeah.
I thought
Uh,
she was.
It's not the cyber
no,
security thing.
no, it's ever. It's
I
I
think the
think.
cybersecurity is an act. You know, I was confusing it too. I don't think it's a commission. It's a law.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're establishing an agency. It's an
Well,
act.
a whole agency. Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, but that already been the general Liberia Tourism Authority has already been legislatively approved a long
Okay.
time ago. I think it's been approved for more than a year and a half or so, like that. The
Okay.
appointments were just made for that body to be functioning. But looking again, I would have gone about it a different. But to the point, I don't know much about her. I don't know much about her background. But people who are familiar with her have spoken highly of her. And so I don't know what the plan is, but if I had that position, I would have a whole different outlook on how we move the system forward, right? I don't think all of this. I think the other day I heard that Liberia has been readmitted in the membership, the tourism membership at the UN. I don't think that benefit Liberia in any kind of way. I think it's more optics than result oriented. We should focus on building the foundation in Liberia. And so I still don't understand how the tourism authority function when you still have the information ministry and tourism. You know what I'm saying? So I will have a whole different outlook and focus on building domestic tourism in Liberia and how we go about that. There are things that we can do. I have a three-part plan that can start that process right now. We talked about it. I'm not going to talk about it on social media because I require to get paid for it. But these are
Right.
things that we can talk about based on consultancy. So I don't know how all of these different things help the process when it comes to laying the foundation. Remember, Mr. Nagbe, we do not have the foundation laid in Liberia right now. So we need to lay the foundation, like our counterparts did in Ghana. We don't have the foundation, but we can start from somewhere. We can start from somewhere with some of the ideas that I've talked about. So I don't know how that benefits the tourism sector. I don't know what the plans are, but I'm hoping that I wish her all the best, and I'm always open to consultations on what my ideas are and what I think is best right now for implementation. But I've heard nothing but good things about her. I think the deputy managing director, I think he's an attorney, I believe. I don't know his background. I don't know exactly what they do. Um, but we need to understand that I think for so long we focus on entertainment, and we need to understand that entertainment and tourism are not the same, and the approaches cannot be the same. Entertainment and tourism have different focal points, and we can't treat entertainment as tourism in Liberia. And so I don't know, but I wish them the best, and I look forward to some of the ideas that they have. But just reading that article, I don't know how that impacts tourism.
Yeah, I feel to see that too. I mean, honestly, I don't. Maybe they will come back and tell us. If anybody was supposed to know something about it, I would think on the panel here that would be you. And so if you don't, I have absolutely no idea what they intend to do with it and how far they're gonna do with it. But then on top of that, one of the most influential and most powerful members right now, the United States, this current president doesn't believe in climate change. So he thinks climate change. He says that it's a con job. It's a hoax. Um,
Climate
yeah,
change is not a climate
yeah,
change is not a hoax. I mean, that's far from it. I mean, he
yeah,
sees that happening right in Liberia. Look at the weather. The weather have changed in Liberia. People, I mean, the weather have changed. Things have changed. So climate change is real.
yeah,
Look at down south. I mean, in places like Atlanta. Many years ago when I was in high school, we never saw no snow in Atlanta. Now it's becoming constant every winter or even fall.
Yeah.
Today it's snowing in Atlanta today. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
wow.
It's 26 degrees in the city, you
Jesus.
know? And so you can't tell me that climate change is not real. It's real. I
Yeah.
think the president probably needs to be convinced by the experts in that area as to why it's real and why this is something that we should take a look
No,
at.
but I think Robert and with the Republicans, I think it's just intentional. I think they know, but it stands in a way of the fossil fuel, which is, you know, you know, I don't want to say they put above human life, but climate change will mean stop drilling for oil, reduce our reliance on oil and all of that. So they I think they know. They don't want to, they don't want to acknowledge it. They're aware
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
It's the signs are all around us.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. In our daily lives, I mean,
yeah,
you can see it.
yeah,
Is definitely, you can't deny it that
yeah.
it's not
So
real.
the fossil fuel, they drive their businesses, their productions, and they don't want to slow down. They want to drill and drill more.
Yeah.
First, you remember Sarah Pilling,
Oh
drill,
yeah, from
drill,
Alaska.
baby.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Alaska, drill, baby, drill. You
Yep.
know.
Yeah, that
So
was one. That was one ignorant woman, man. She had no idea nothing she was talking
you
about.
know, when you're not here, when you're young, right, when you're out of this country, for you guys who came here young, for someone who grew up back home before we just think this place is so everything is done so right. Then you come here, it's a shit show. I mean, look what we just experienced here: 41 days of artificial shut. I mean, government shut down only because politicians will not agree on how to move the country. Air traffic controllers work for 30 days without pay. And
Yeah.
these people have bills, they have families, they got mouths to feed, you
Mm-hmm.
know. The
Yep.
airline industry right now is going haywire
Yeah, it's
because
at a stop.
it's
Yep.
an artificial creation,
Yeah,
you know.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
people. But my wife is impacted. My wife works for, works for the federal government.
the federal government. There you
So
go.
she's into IT. She's an IT
Oh,
professional, and she's been working. I mean, yeah, folks are not. It's real. It's a real life.
it is real.
It's a real life thing that is impacting us. And the funny thing about it is that Trump is in over his head. He's not a reasonable guy. You know what I mean? And people have kind of shifted the conversation to where Democrats need to budge, but why should Democrat budge when it comes
Yeah,
to the increase in Medicaid, when it comes to
yeah,
health care and
yeah,
thousands of families who can barely afford what it is now, risking their premium going up? I mean that's crazy.
yeah,
So if the president is responsible enough, the president will understand. Listen, how can we come to? I've never seen the vice president on Capitol or at the place trying to bring these guys together to come to a middle ground, to a resolution. That's what responsible leaders, did when the government was shut down. Even
yeah,
Republican leaders, George Bush did that.
yeah.
George Bush did that. But this guy just doesn't seem to care. And then he
And
announced yesterday that he intends to give every American $2,000.
yeah,
But what good is two
how far,
thousand dollars when people are
exactly. How
people
how far is that gonna?
apartment complexes are charging $500 for their fee after three
Yeah,
years?
yeah.
You
So
know?
how far is that gonna go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
crazy.
and there was great hope that this recent wave of the blue wave was gonna humble him, and he did make some noise that sounded like it was an humbling experience for him, because he blamed it partly on the shutdown. And yet, after all this, he dug his heels in, wants to fire federal worker. I said to say it is their fault that
Hmm.
politicians don't want to agree. He wants to
Hmm.
fire federal workers. He wants to close down, airports and all these things. People
Yeah.
people stuck in the airports over nonsense. only because politicians won't get along.
Yeah,
No,
and
no,
and
no.
also and also, this is the first time in a long time where I've seen people, TSA workers, they're even afraid to even go on a strike. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because they're afraid that they could be targeted.
yeah. But
But
you heard this Republican lawmaker Nancy Mace, right?
Mhm.
They are cutting the people's pay, and because of that, they are shrinking their staff. And she gets to the airport, and she's going to make a scene for not being provided sufficient security. Can you imagine that? Can
Yep.
you imagine? She's
Yep.
there berating the people, and even her own Republican are saying, she needs to go see a doctor. Something wrong with her head. You know, these people are telling you we're short staffed because people don't want to come to work. They're not getting paid. People calling out sick. Some people just resigning out of that. She doesn't understand it. You don't want to pay the people because you're holding up their budget. You're closing down the
Mhm.
government, and you want to get top security like you did before the crisis. Where? How?
Yep.
How does that make sense to anybody?
Yep.
You know?
And the funny thing about it is that these guys who are in the warehouse, these execs members, they have enough money to maneuver a month or 2 or 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of a lot of Americans, live paycheck to paycheck. You know what I'm saying? People don't have money just sitting in the bank just to play. People got to pay their rent, they got to buy groceries and a lot of things. And it's going to affect the festive seasons. I mean, we're in November, December's coming up. People are traveling, tourism. You would expect tourism to be, malls to be packed. People are even. There was a report the other day that people are worried that the government does not open from now to the end of this month. Retailers could see the worst revenue at the end of the year.
yeah,
I mean,
Robert. I
imagine
mean,
what that
it,
means.
it is obvious people don't have money to spend, right? I mean, and again, I keep coming back to it. This is artificial. It's not like to say there was an earthquake somewhere or something. No, these politicians got together and decided they will not agree, and they're getting paid. They're living it up. Trump is traveling all over the place, unperturbed.
Hey,
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because
slow down, slow down, slow down.
yeah, Robert. And
You're,
Yeah, he's a
you're,
Republican.
we're
you're,
talking facts here. We're talking facts here. You're gonna tell them to slow down. All
But
right,
but
check.
but but Mr. Number, you heard what I told you, right? Most of these
Yeah,
some of but you see, Jerome he's self pay. I mean, he works for himself. So his government isn't shut down.
but I
His
tell you
cli-
this,
his
Robert. He
his
doesn't have his own
clientels are
private.
still making money.
He doesn't have his own private jet. He's getting ready to fly to Africa. Let him go to JFK or wherever he's
yeah,
flying from, and
yeah,
let him
but
go tell him, sir, we
yeah,
don't
but
have
yeah,
anybody to
but
go.
your boy your dog Mandani want to take my taxes and go give it to folks sleeping on the street in
No, it's not your
Miami in New
taxes.
York.
It's not your taxes. He said, if you are making, listen, if you are a multi-millionaire and
Tell
a
him,
Yeah,
Robert. Tell him,
billionaire
yeah,
in New
please.
York City,
yes,
if you
yes.
are multi-millionaire and you're a
Uh-huh,
billionaire in New York City,
uh-huh.
tell
How many
me,
of
tell
them?
me, tell
How
me
many
how
billionaires are there?
they're plenty, they're
Ah,
plenty. But
okay.
tell me, even if they were 10, tell me how 2%. 2% more taxes. Tell me, just explain this to me. If
Uh-huh.
you are a multi-billionaire, you are writing these off in tax returns anyway. You're giving more than 2% to charities. The problem is you're giving it to the wrong kind of charities because your billionaire friends that have charities in Africa are spending less money, but on their taxes they said, well, it's 3, 5, 10%. That can't be verified. All he's saying is just pay 2% more so that New Yorkers can don't have to worry about buying hard to take public transportation. Public transportation as it is right now in New York is reasonable, but it's slow. So to move from Brooklyn to Harlem, when it should take you 30 minutes, it's taking you 2 hours and 50 minutes.
So how you gonna do that?
Pay more. If you earn more, to whom much is given, much is expected. It's a simple courtesy. If you're a billionaire and you're multi millionaire, 2% should not hurt your pockets.
Well,
You're gonna claim down your tax return
so
anyway.
Mr. Nagbe, no wonder a lot of people chose to stay home because they made less, so they pay less. So y'all who working, teachers, everybody else, you pay. If I got a business, so you know, I'm looking for Trump to give me breaks. I don't have to pay.
Yeah, but you will get tax breaks. What he's saying is he's not going after small business, and I think this is the
Yeah,
misconception.
yeah.
He didn't say
Listen,
small. My only worry with this man is that the kind of promises he made. I know he's a social, whatever guy, but the kind of promises he made my only concern is he did not explain. I think it was just all excitement. If you have a plan to ensure free transportation, if you have a plan to ensure, there's another thing that he talked about, free something. You got to explain what those plans are. You heard what the governor said. The governor of New York is a Democrat. She said, based on his statements and the way he presented it, without a plan, she would not allow him to run business folks from New York. She's not going to let that happen. But she's a Democrat.
But yeah, but he related to white guy. White guy promised you we're gonna take the kids off the street, free health care, free on time. There's no plan. But the people bought it.
You got too much patience with this man here.
Yeah, that's my only concern with them.
But listen, the man said free child care. Do you know why in New York they got 8 million people free child care? Free grocery, government-run grocery store.
Wait, all the 8 million books each of
No, that's a red tip. He didn't say all the 8 million.
Every one of the 8 million books got a child.
No, I'm telling you, that means that there are more young people there having children. Free child care. Do you know why it is?
No, but there are criteria. You have to meet certain criteria. Just the way we cannot apply, we can never. I've never been able to get, and I did it once when I was in high school. And when not high school, when I graduated high school and I was in college, when I first started, my first job was the Intercontinental Hotel Group. I don't even think I was making $25,000 or $30,000 annually.
You were not qualified.
I did not qualify for full STEM in this country. I would never qualify for full STEM in America. So, and I'm not a millionaire. But you have to reach a certain criteria.
You got Mandani, he's going to say life got to be fair. Not because he made $5 million gain the food stamps. What you going to now the folks say they need $8 billion a month to run the transportation system.
So let me tell you what's happening.
So where you going to get that kind of money from?
But let the billionaires pay the 2%, pay 2% more. What's the issue?
Right. Okay, there you go. You see, they pie in the sky thing. You're gonna come out like Joseph Walker. Let me with $2 billion, $1.2 billion, and you got no whole different story.
No, let me tell you this, Jerome. Right? Let me tell you this. Federally, you now have up to 6 months to stay home when you have a child. Right? Maternity leave. 6 months.
In New Jersey?
It's federally, not New Jersey alone.
What?
So, yeah. It's a federal, yeah. It's not just
but that is if you have because companies can pay up to 3 months.
Right.
Now, if you have the PTOs and you have the sick leave, and there are other people who are buying insurances.
Right.
And because my wife and I was thinking about that as well. You can purchase insurances to allow you to stay off of work for more than the stipulated compensation.
I gotta check it again, Robert. I think you get it 6 months upfront. I know guys who've done it. You know the thing.
But they're still doing 3 months though. They're still doing 3 months.
Yeah, 6 months. So what I'm trying to tell you, at the end of by the time the child is 6 months, you can now go to the Head Start program. You know where you take the child. That's what McDonald is talking about. The Head Start program that will be free. It's like kindergarten. You take the child there with you. You go to work.
My kids went to Head Start. So what's about defunding the police?
Come on, where you got that word from? Who said that?
He said he would defund the police. He would prefer social workers.
He said that? He didn't say that, Jerry.
Yeah,
I don't think he said that. So don't mind the Republicans.
The man said he said he's gonna defund the police. Now he's finished winning. He tried to draw it back, but we're not gonna let it go.
It is 16. I think we're lucky that we're off the air. Let me get ready and watch my Eagles. I will see you tomorrow. Robert, tired with it, man. Yeah, I mean, we got meeting tonight, Jerome. I'm telling you now. Don't forget 9 o'clock. Saying the link already.
So we're not on the air. We're not on the air.
We're not on the air, Robert. I think we're on the radio, but I don't think we're on the internet. Jerome, we got 9 o'clock meeting. I sent you the link already.
Okay.
Yeah, but we need to find time to deep dive into this budget.
Well, tomorrow the CMC is going to do that, Robert, and Musa has already put out an announcement at 3 p.m. tomorrow Liberian time, which will be about 10 o'clock a.m. on the East Coast. Good thing I'm not working tomorrow. I will follow. We can take our cue from there. I'm sure TCA will also find. Jerome, what happened to Councilor Freeman? I thought he was supposed to come in today or so.
Yeah, he was supposed to come. He told me to get the actual indictment from the court.
Okay.
I didn't get the indictment because he didn't want to speak off topic. He wanted the indictment. So I called Monrovia, and the reporter there said they don't have the indictment.
So the 36 pages that have been circulating, what is that? You don't have that?
No, I didn't get that.
People have just been sending it out to folks that didn't know. I can
Is it from the court?
Yeah.
No, yeah. But
I'll
it's not.
I'll forward it to you. You can send it to him. Let him take a look at it.
Okay, please send it to me.
36 pages. I think about 40 names on that thing. It's pretty extensive.
Is Robert name there?
Robert names on the sideline, on the margin.
They're stupid. They can't put my name there.
They
talk about why is it that the Ministry of Presidential Affairs,
you know who named that, Jerome?
Got more money than the
agriculture. No, that's a joke. That's a joke.
She coming for you. Are the ANC people? You messing with Cummings?
I'm backing up the run tree, right?
You see you are giving us inside information because you were part of the ANC, so you're giving us the right information. Well, someone said we are on the air.
Oh, so we're back.
Yeah, Robert, can you check your phone see if we on?
No, I'm actually actually on my phone from but it said we're online. We're on the air and we're on Facebook.
Okay, good. Okay. Then we can go on to 7 o'clock. We can go to by 6:30. We start winding it down so you can go and watch your ego get flogged.
Yeah, let's do that.
What? Okay, so no, we're gonna put a hurt on the Packers tonight. You said what?
Listen, listen, guys. They said
we're back on.
Okay, they said Dev Roman target. We are exposing Liberia deep political wounds. That's a great article. Let me read it real quick. It says here, false rumors about the health of President Weah have triggered a wave of bitter political exchanges online, fueling a debate over whether Liberia political culture has lost its moral compass. The latest flare-up began last week when speculation spread on social media claiming that Weah had fallen seriously ill while in Rabat, Morocco, where he attended FIFA event, including the U-17 Women's World Cup final. The claim quickly escalated into open death wishes from one user, shocking many, who argued that politics in Liberia had crossed into inhumane territory. What might have been dismissed as typical rumor mongering took a darker turn as posts celebrating Weah's alleged illness and pending death circulated widely. Many Liberians across party lines publicly condemned the behavior, though, calling it a sign of how fractured the nation has become. It's like we are losing our humanity in politics, Monserrato County Senator Abraham Dara Dillon wrote, expressing disbelief at the level of callousness emerging online. The backlash grew stronger after Weah's chief of staff, Leonard Eugene Nagbe, shared a live video and photos showing the former president looking healthy, greeting FIFA president. Liberian entertainer Gregory Atos, Frank joined the chorus of voices urging compassion over partisanship, saying George Weah is sick. Joseph Walker is sick. So we are wishing death for either of our leaders. Politics have blinded us. Our problem is mentality. Even critics of the Weah administration expressed concern. Gender advocate Vic June Excel Water wrote, regardless of politics, I pray you are well for your family and for those who still look up to you. Some analysts believe the current climate reflects long-standing political hostility rather than just spontaneous cruelty. They highlight last year's casket parade where supporters of Weah CDC marched with an effigy of then candidate Joseph Boakai in a coffin, a comment many now see as a symbolic precursor to today's rhetoric. This is the harvest of years normalizing dehumanization in politics. One political observer noted the cruelty has simply boomerang. This is the harvest of years of normalizing dehumanization in politics. Our political observer noted the cruelty has simply boomed. Rawa Garguah.
I mean, it's absurd. And quite frankly, you know, I understand why they have to do what they do when it comes to the videos and the pictures of the former president, but I probably won't even pay that no attention. I also understand why they have to uh, refute these lies by making a point because you know they didn't do most of what they're doing now, and it hurt them during the election. You know, they are the machinery of the Unity Party, the campaign machinery of the Unity Party, made up different stories that the government just did not respond to, and voters believed them. Voters really believed them. And so I understand that they have to respond to these things, but it tells you where we are as a country when people don't understand the true meaning of politics. I would sit in on a conversation that fiercely, relentlessly discuss the day-to-day issues and how Unity Party believes that they have the best idea to move the country forward, issue by issue, education, infrastructure, roads, healthcare, experience, corruption. We can have these conversations, policy related conversations. Fiercely, we can disagree. But when we begin to wish each other death, when we begin to attack each other, families, when it goes to the children, when it goes to the wives, when we begin to do these things, we are taking away the substance of what the conversation should be about. And it tells you who we are, it tells you what we are. And this is a true reflection of our politics. We have for so long embraced and accepted a politics where there's no substance. The substance are not discussed. What we discuss is the population, the popularity. We discuss things that don't matter when we should be discussing the bread and butter issues. How am I the better candidate than Jerome based on my ideas, based on my record? How? And we can still have those conversations and drink a glass of beer at the end of the week without wishing each other's death. But when you see, and let me close on this note, this justification that because sedition paraded Liberia with Joseph Boakai in a coffin somehow makes it right to make up a story that the former president is sick. And I heard things about he was in Ghana in the hospital when in fact he was in Morocco. He's sick. And he's people are saying RIVP. And these people truly believe these things. They're using AI generated photos to make these points. And the society is so gullible to the point where people believe these things. It tells you who we are and where we are as a people, and it's quite frankly sickening.
Honorable Nagbe, somebody sent me the AI generator photo of President. We are looking so sick. I look at it first. If I didn't look closely, I would have believed what that funny looking picture with that small glasses on. And I look at it. My brother called me from Beacon and said, "My man, it look like your man really sick with this picture. Don't look right." I told him, I said, "You really believe that photo?" But this is what it has become. But I've always said it, I said it from the get-go. To me, it was so comical that I started to laugh because we did it too. When Boakai was sick, we played a tape. Prince Johnson came on and said, you know, that Bible total, you know, he was going to die, all kinds of stuff. And we laugh about it. I was just telling Sarah Dopoh and the other folks, the shoes are just on the other foot. Why you guys are all in arm? The man is not sick. We know this. If the people are making it, you either respond to it, but why you? I mean, the vitriol in response, I thought it was not fair. I think the CDC folks, I think they're wrong, the Unity Party folks, because when Costa said the man was saying he was going to die in 3 months, the CDC, we all over the place laughing. In fact, we have memes, we're in the hospital with, you know, IV and all that, and we laugh, we make fun of it. They're doing the same thing on the other side. All you got to do is just flip back in your phone a few months ago and you will see the same thing that we did. So why are they? I mean, I'm seeing the sedition, they are so vicious in response to the United Party folks. I thought they were I just have to say they were just wrong. This is, I mean, you look at the photo, the AI photos, you can look at the stuff, the man look like a ghost on that picture, right? Like you. Nagbe, let's be honest and let's be fair. This is, I don't know why the CDC are so upset.
You know, it's I think it's wrong when the Unity Party people do it, and I think it's wrong when the CDC people do it. I understand you say, you know, you guys did it. When the CDC was the Unity Party people, you know, were in opposition. I mean, when the Unity Party people were in office, the CDC did, and so, you know, but let's not normalize that. I think it's classless. You know, it doesn't belong in our body politic. I think we can agree to disagree on the issues, but you know, illness, nobody has control over that. And I mean, that's the worst you can wish on a person. So I think you know, I agree that you did it as CDC in opposition, you know, to the United Party people, and the United Party people, I guess they should do it to you too. But I would say, you know, we need to just stop it already. It doesn't do us, and it doesn't serve us any purpose, you know, to rejoice over, you know, the news of the illness of an opposition leader, let alone the fact that this may not even be close to the truth at all. I don't think it is. I don't think so.
But listen,
and I can understand why you're saying why should the CDC would be upset. This is not true. Why are they upset about it so badly? That I understand. You know, I hope Sarah will explain to me because I know she will leave the pool work and go sit down in the break room. I'm gonna be telling me all kind of things. Don't be telling nothing here. We can't come here. We don't want to talk. We don't want to read your stuff. Come and tell us why you're so upset about. But you know, if it is, you know, I don't know, Jerome. You're right. If he was sick and they were making fun of it, maybe there will be substance to it. I see your point. He's not sick at all. I don't think it's true. Why are they so upset about it?
Yeah, but I think that orange is an apple, Jerome. I think
no, it's not. Listen. Let me before you go. In the Republican Party, they call somebody to say, get in front of the news, right? If somebody got a bad news and you didn't want to capitalize it, you be the first to tell the bad news and you talk about it like we did in the CMC, right? Okay, Grace went on the air. Who were the first to put it on? We took it, we played the tape, everybody come in there, and guess what? It died. But if you have kept it on a route, okay, somebody will dig it up all the time. This is what I'm saying. Look, this going election in Cameroon, Paul Biya. How many photos of dead Paul Biya we didn't see? When you look at what the other guy did, the guy from Uganda, the VP Ali, you know, we see this is what happens. This is what makes it fun. Once you say there is a prohibition, then you make it even attractive. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, but there's a difference, though. I think it's still wrong on the part of wishing death, right? I don't think that there's nothing wrong with someone being sick because we're human beings. We do get sick. We get sick, we seek care, and we're back to our normal selves.
And we're gonna die.
Okay, and each of us will die. But it becomes very dangerous though when people think is politically strategic in response to what Sedition did with the coffin thing to make up health related stories. Not only that, right? But to make up health related stories based on the fact that someone has lost weight. This is the ignorance, and this is the difference, I believe, as compared to the story with Joseph Boakai. George Weah, and even we mentioned it. I mean, other platform people have mentioned that. Well, it looks like the presidency brings this glow that it doesn't bring outside of the presidency, referring to, well, when George Weah was president, he was chubby, he was fat, and he looked good, as opposed to not being president now, on the basis that he's been working out, he's been spending time in the gym, and he's lost some weight. People, when he's regaining his body as an athlete, right? And people have seen that and made up a story that he's sick. He got people. Some people say he had AIDS. He this, but it becomes dangerous when it's a lie, when it's a made up story, and then people continue to push this narrative that he's sick. People who don't know better, people who are not informed, will eventually begin to believe that. The situation with Joseph Boakai was different because Joseph Boakai health concerns have been on the record where he uses a medical device to help him function, which is not a bad thing. There are professional soccer players today who are wearing pacemaker the same way Joseph Boakai is, right? I think publicly we've seen the president struggle a bit, and that comes with age. We saw that during the inaugural speech, and people before that were concerned whether or not Joseph Boakai was fit, health wise, to carry out the function of the presidency. These are all important concerns. If George Weah had a health concern, even those who support him should also be questioning the president is sick, granted, everyone gets sick. But is he capable and healthy enough to carry out his function as president? The same question was asked about John McCain with the cancer thing. Come to find out, Americans made the right call because John McCain would not have finished out his term had he been elected. He died 2 years later after the election due to cancer. The difference is John McCain was very open about his health. There were demands about doctors' information. It happens in this country. It's part of our democracy. So JMB has had issue with his health. So people who were questioning outside of folks who were making fun of it, which was wrong, seditions toting a casket and moving around was completely wrong. But to see people in the Unity Party hierarchy pushing this narrative that George Weah had died or that he was somehow in a hospital in Ghana, rest in peace, when in fact that he's not sick, there has been no of facts to back that this man is actually sick. He's been in the hospital because if they were, they would have been out by now. To make up this story, I think is different. And I don't think it's funny. And why it's not funny is we should not be wishing people death. If I had questions about Joseph Boakai health, I think those are valid questions. But do I have questions to the point where I wish the president should die? No. I should pray for the president, and these concerns should be expressed respectfully, not in a denigrating and disrespectful way. I haven't indulged in those kinds of engagement. I would never do that. Others have done it, but I don't think it's funny when we begin to wish our political opponent death only because we don't like them or because we felt like it was done in other places. I mean, just because someone did it doesn't make it right. It doesn't justify why you should do it as well. It doesn't justify that. So I think it's orange and apple because Joseph Boakai has a health record. He's been not feeling well. He's an elderly man. Granted, we don't wish him death, wish him well. And so far, he's proved to be well. George Weah does not have any health record that we know that he's sick other than the fact that he's lost weight. He's been in the gym. So why make up story like that to the point where you're wishing him death? I think it's wrong.
Yeah, but Mr. Nagbe, why do you think somebody would make up a story like that?
Well, first of all, let me thank all those who have come up to confirm that we're back on. A lot of people are typing. Jerome, I'll come to that, but quickly, there's something breaking here. Let me say this. Armstrong Goba Selepo, I think he's recently appointed advisor to Musa Hassan Belete, to the CMC political advisor. There's a chatter in the chat room that he was away from home in Saniquile, and apparently his house and family got attacked by 3 armed men who are suspected of being AFL men. And so he's rushing back to go and ascertain the facts. I hope this is not true, but these are some of the things we're talking about that don't have any place in politics. I hope this is not politically motivated, but he's very upset, and he wrote in the chat room, and everybody is, wishing him well. So he's on his way to go and verify what the facts are, but I really hope it is not what we think it is. So I just wanted to let him know that our hearts and prayers are with him, CDC, CMC family. But as to what this benefits anyone, I honestly don't get it, because look, if anything, the CDC people, they could really play this into their benefit and garner a lot of sympathy, from this reporting. As far as we know, the former president is not sick. I mean, I don't think he is. I saw his recent photos at the FIFA meeting. He looked very, they did, like you said, Jerome, he doesn't look anything like this AI photo that we saw of him, with looking all gaunt and kind of, so much weight. So, Jane, you tell us what is so upsetting about what these people are saying. You say Waka was not lied on, but they're lying on. I don't know if it's a big deal, but the former president doesn't look sick. I think he's well. And what is it going to benefit the cities? What? That they will have no competition in the field? No, I think I think the former president has competition in the name of Musa Hassan Belete. I know the CDC and ANC will not agree here, but it's true. So wishing the former president ill, I think it's not in the best interest. I don't think it serves any purpose. So, like we've been saying all along, they need to knock it off already. Let's focus on the real issues here. The president returned from overseas again. This is probably like his 10th or 11th or 12th trip. And apparently, he's come back with nothing. They don't want us to talk about it.
No.
And, they're bringing all of these unnecessary, dangling all these little shining objects in our faces, you understand me? So that we will lose sight of the main thing, which is actually that this government, 2 years now, they have spent $1.6 billion over the past 2 years, 738 million plus now 880 million or whatever it is. If you add them up, that's over $1.6 billion. And what do we have to show for it? Absolutely nothing. Then now we're talking another 1.2 billion. So in 3 years, we're talking about what, almost $3 billion. And what do we have to show for it? I think those are the things we need to be talking about. So again, I'll remind you, make a date tomorrow. Find the CMC. We'll put a link on our pages. Listen to our analysis of the budget. See what's in this budget and what should have been in it. What a real budget is supposed to look like. A budget that seeks to deliver and bring relief to our people. We're already hearing the speaker has increased his budget from 1.4 billion to 1.4 million to $1.8 million. What does he need that increase about? So, but other than that, all this sick and you're not sick, I sick, you're not sick, and all of that, I don't think really. I don't think really does anything to the discourse. So we tired with your sick business, man.
The thing is that these guys are very good at propaganda. You should know it's coming. The man is coming from America. He's coming from France. He bring nothing.
Yeah.
Everywhere he are going, MOU. We laugh at that one. We told them we don't want to hear MOU. So this time he just came out blank and said, "Listen, we didn't go there for a bag of money. We just went to hang out." So to change that bad topic. The president,
the next day we went to hang out.
The press secretary
and then the next day, the press secretary said she tried to lecture the country on diplomatic engagement works. It's not that you go and then the president come out with a bag of money to divide. Oh, but that now you know all that one when you're questioning what Joey y'all brought back. That now you know. You see, the people got excuse for everything. Everything they got excuse
But
for.
this is what I'm saying. The CDC should know what these people are all about. Let me play this TV so you can see it. This one.
Anybody can get a job. You think you follow the referral procedure to get a job? And the president appoints somebody, and the president to one appoint somebody, and can appoint somebody. So who's the president? I forgot. I know the president who appointed you. Forget about the person. Who's the president appointed you? No. So why position there? Why position there? The move for you, man.
That boy got a baby.
Yeah, the boy got a baby. They put her to the war economic crime court.
So what are her responsibilities then?
Exactly.
Move from here, man.
Move right here, man. Rob, move right here, man. What y'all not gonna go there?
The country, man. The country is something else. You know. But you're talking about the speaker, the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. I have no idea why they got over $15 million. They got more money in the budget than the agriculture sector. Can you imagine?
Of course.
I mean, can you imagine that kind of stuff? You know? So I mean, the country, man, $929 million.
Yes.
For recurrent
expenditure, imagine that. It's not even half of the budget. That's almost 70 to 70 over
77%. It's 77% of the entire budget.
How?
You know,
and they're still establishing new agencies, and these new agencies will require salary and all of this. It doesn't make sense to me.
When we should be investing in tourism, I don't see anything there for tourism because again, this is the reason why it's important. I'm not even going to spare out my plans here. If I were to ever sit and talk to a president who had interest in appointing me, we need to set some foundation. We need to retweak some things in our structural we need to retweak that, because as long as tourism remains under information will get zero of any budgetary allotment that goes to that ministry. And even with the establishment and the appointment of this agency, the government has yet to outline all these guys where funding comes from. How do they intend to fund that? So these guys have to be creative. They have to be innovative with ideas and what they're going to do. But when you just look at the budget, I got to give credit to the pro tem. I think she was very conservative with her budget. From I think 1 point something, she down to 900 and something thousand.
Yes. But it's excluding everything else. So what it did was the first budget included travel, entertainment, and everything else. So what it did was they took all of those out of the budget line item and put it into others. So it looks like her budget went down, but no. After everything added up, it's even more. But
the saving that isn't really.
That's right. So now look at this now, guys. It says a month-long investigation by the Liberian investigator has uncovered credible indication that a Turkish firm with business interests in Liberia mining sector is financing the construction of the alleged $10 million presidential villa currently rising in Joseph Boakai's hometown in Foya. The project, which has been the subject of intense national debate, is being built under the veil of secrecy without public procurement record, budgetary allocation, or any knowledge from the government of who is funding and on what terms. The finding marked the first substantive link between the villa and the foreign financiers. Until now, the government has provided shifting An inconsistent statement regarding the project's ownership, funding, ranging, and claims of sub-regional sponsorship to the suggestion that it is a private initiative. None of the explanations have withheld scrutiny. The Minor River Union, once named as a funding source by Daniel Sano, Deputy Minister for Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information, Culture, and Representative, has entirely disavowed involvement. No legislative appropriation exists. The Public Procurement Commission, PPCC, confirmed there is no contract whatsoever of this nature that was ever submitted for review. The construction continues rapidly expanding, expensively, and on unusual tight security. The building material, according to multiple eyewitnesses' account, arrived from Turkey in overnight convoys. Access to the site is restricted. Photography is prohibited. Workers are sworn to secrecy. The secrecy has deepened public suspicion, and our reporting now confirmed that the Turkish building involved are linked to the companies with strong commercial interest in Liberia on tapped mineral deposit, most likely Wologisi. Robert Garguah, this is unbelievable what we are seeing here.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't believe anything until, I mean, at the end of the day, the facts will surface. I don't care how long they attempt to mislead the public. The facts will eventually come out. And this is, again, this is the reason why, again, you looked at all of these indictments and stuff that are coming. They are all just for public noise. Because if the asset recovery team was serious about corruption, I saw that they put $3 million in the budget for the question I want to ask as we delve into this is, since they've been budgeting for all of these different programs, who have gotten arrested in jail? I mean, why would you continue to logically invest in programs that you know results for Liberian people? You might as well just let people steal and take the money and reappropriate the money and put it to education, put absolutely nothing, right? But if they were serious in their faces, on their watch, you have a property that's been built in the president's backyard. Supposedly, you know very well, if none of us know the facts to who owns that place, there's no way the president of Liberia and his deputies, like the folks who control his information dissemination, will not know. They've lied after lies. They've misled the public. They've actually exposed themselves, right? And everything else that comes out right now is a cover up, because that project started in 2024. And you know what? Based on what I know, they were afraid that they were doing the same thing they accused George Weah of doing when it came to renovating his property. And we argued that even if the president had the money, even if the president's son, who's a multi-millionaire, says, "I will give you $1 million to go and renovate your house," the optics just did not look good, because that $1 million could have come before he became president. The optics didn't look good. Joseph Bogart have always said he lived on loan. So, and I don't think none of his children are millionaires. I'm just playing the devil's advocate, right? So, for a project that's happening in the country, where you talk about in his hometown, where equipments are coming into the country, from out of the country, you're telling me that no one in Liberia will be able to know exactly what's happening? All lies. I think that project belongs to Joseph Boakai. I believe the whole story with the surprise thing, I think this was a gift that they attempted to give the president for retirement. I think this was meant to be kept secret. And unfortunately, they made a mistake and they didn't capture the drone that took the pictures, and it was just shared. And now they're trying to justify and come up with stories that have been debunked. But if the actual recovery team was serious about fighting corruption and giving back to Liberia what belongs to them, I support them 100%. But it's clear that they are selective. It's clear that it's politically targeted. It's clear that they don't have no serious. I mean, these guys are talking about money laundering. Last time I checked with the financial intelligence team, most of these guys didn't even have any idea on what that was. The asset recovery team does not have the sophistication to talk about money laundering. That is not within their scope.
No.
So all of this indictment. What happened to Samuel Tway? They made big noise about Samuel Tway and all of this economic sabotage. Oh, Samuel Tway must come back to the country. How long has Samuel Tway been back in the country? Has the kids been in court? Do you think Samuel Tway going to go to jail before Joseph Boakai term ends?
Who will go to jail?
Come on, man.
Well, we got 15 minutes. Let's end on a good note here. Operation Seat UL. We talked about it earlier. Responding to an urgent need for adequate student facility, the concerned civic group Voice of Elder Vote Friday announced the immediate launch of Operation Seat LU, a massive 6-month campaign dedicated to securing 22,000 armchairs for the Republic High School. Can you imagine? It says here, the goal is to give every student in the Republic that attend the University of Liberia to give them a seat, as now students are standing at the university with no seats.
Oh, I made a mistake, Mr. Jerome. I said $3 million for anti-corruption program. I misspoke. It was $34 million. $34 million. So I misspoke completely. They have budgeted $34 million for these programs. The $3 million was on a line item under the investment plan, and the $3 million was for school renovations, okay? School renovations and rehabilitation. That was for 2020, this year, 2025. And the same year was University of Liberia had been shut down for months. So, Mr. Nagbe, what happened to that $3 million? So even if you use 50% of that $3 million, it won't cost you more than $200,000 to renovate University of Liberia. So if you have these line items in the budget, why is it that these things are not being done? Who's taking the money?
But Robert, they said the armchair for the university is $20 a piece. Can you imagine?
Yeah. But students are taking their own chairs to school.
Yes. I mean, the university right there by the executive mansion on Capitol Hill. Students are standing. $20 per seat.
But this is, and this is what I was telling you guys again, Jerome, the other day about, the lack of understanding of the advocacy that our young people right now are engaged in. The university students at the end, they all day they're wearing the khaki and going to the Palava Hall.
Yeah, running all over the place.
They're running all over the place. They're going to attack the president's office and all of that. Well, what about you go to the lawmakers who are right across the road and tell them to put money in the budget for you? Go and besiege the office of the Ways and Means Chairman. I mean, he's my friend. I like him a lot, but he is there to do a job. How about you go there and demand that they put money in the budget to renovate the University of Liberia? That's what we would do when I was with Lanesu back then. That's what we did.
But the money is there. No, the money is there. The
thank you very
much. $3 million.
Why is Poon getting $400,000 additionally? He already got $1.4 million for nothing. Why is he getting another $400,000? They need to go there and do sit-ins. No violence, nothing, but make the place ungovernable. They can do it.
They went to FIFA, way over there.
Exactly.
Way over there.
Way over there. When the university is just right across from them, the Capitol building. That's where the money is. Let them go there. And go to the Ways and Means people and tell them you got to move some of the things around and put money in the budget. They can do it. They don't want to do it because you know why? Most of the guys across the road there, they get a $50 a year and then, and they take care of them. So they don't want to do it. And that is a problem because they themselves now, they're dishonest. Their struggle is fake. You know, they're con artists. Otherwise, they will go and attack where the source of their problems. The University of Liberia, they don't have chairs, and it's okay with them. But every day they converge on the palaver and tell us big talk. You know, Soup is doing this and Soup is doing that. How about Soup goes and besiege the Capitol building? Go and do it. Do it tomorrow. They're debating the budget now. This is the time to go in there. Tell Kun to give back the $400,000 he's taking. He doesn't deserve it. Take it from him. Put it in the university budget.
Look at the $3,600 a month for generator, right?
Yeah.
You multiply that by 12.
Exactly.
Why you need that?
$20.
Why do you need that?
$20 a seat. That man is making close to $40,000 for gas. That alone could buy all the seats, all the chairs, all the universities. $22,000.
But again, my fear is if the money is in the budget, that's why we need to read the budget. I keep telling people, read the budget, because when you read, because you see, I said this the last time. Those people know the people that they're dealing with, Mr. Nagbe. They know these people don't read in Liberia. And that includes our legislators. The folks who are supposed to digest the budget, right? Ask the right questions. They don't take the time to actually peruse the budget. So if they're not reading the only line item they read is their salary and how much of an increase they got.
Yeah.
As long as they're good, the rest of the stuff don't really matter. Only few
Yeah,
don't
but
read the
Robert,
budget.
let me say this. Martin Colley was all over the place. Why? 3 or 4 years ago, he was a part of them. He's a student leader.
Doing the same thing.
Why exactly send the information to them and explain to them what is information. If they can't really explain it to them. But I think other thing, you know, other thing is a cover up. You know, it's unreal. You go out and attack the LFA because you say the president is not in Liberia. Other that, you know, you go and attack the president of it. But the people who are actually taking the money from under you, they're right across the road. How do you not see that? How do they not get that?
I wrote a piece yesterday and I tagged because I'm not a economist, but I just kept reading the budget. I spent over 3 hours just going through the budget, and I had some. One of the question is, how do you achieve the $1.2 billion?
Right.
And I think the finance ministry indicated that they're going to introduce a 2% presumptive income tax for corporate.
There go that Madani 2% again.
But wait a minute now. Wait a minute. But here's a question. Here's a question, right? When you deep dive into what that actually is, it tells you a lot of things that raises question when it comes to Liberia. That the government don't really know the actual income of these corporations. It's based on assumption. They don't really know, right? So if they don't know and they don't have the data, then how do you determine 2%? Especially when a lot of these small corporations and stuff like that also don't understand the best financial practices. Or are they just talking about major concessions agreement, right? And even if you're talking about major concessions agreement, you still need to understand what those agreements are. And because it has to be debated in Congress, they have to go through it and look through it. If you have guys who don't understand the business, then how do they even reach to that determination? So when the finance minister takes the pulpit or the podium to talk about these things, I think it's important that they educate Liberians. And I enjoy how Professor Kennedy, because I tagged him in the piece yesterday, he called the budget an illusion. It's an illusion. The gap between the projections and what's actually actualized, they're always off. Look at the 2024 budget. Look at the 2024 budget. When it went to recast, it was different. The budget had $2 million for LDEA. When the budget came back, that $2 million was cut down to under $500,000. And I was like, what? How do you do that? But when the draft budget is released, they want Liberians to just focus on the draft budget. Whatever that is recasted, whatever is done in the House, people don't really care about it. They say, oh, $1.2 billion budget. This is good news. Good news. Good. Oh, first time in history. But what is in it for you? Have you read the details?
No.
Have you read the details? How do you raise that kind of money? How do you raise that kind of money? Raising taxes is good. They talk about even the consumer taxes.
They
How do you
expect
even do that when the private
the
sector
asset
is not
recovery
functioning?
route to bring. They expect the asset recovery to bring $10 million.
And how much have they raised so far?
That zero. That
But guess what? But guess what? They're still getting paid though.
of course.
Yeah. But I'm saying to you that part of the projection in the budget. That's why we got one point. Because Alexander come and say you're going to take the budget to $1 billion. They got to take it.
All of a sudden, did I take
They
it
got
back?
Yeah, but that's not smart. That's not smart. It's like if you're going to do the budget, it cannot just be optics based. It has to be targeted. It has to be focused on targets. You cannot just say, "Oh, we want to take credit for what Cummings talk about," and the very people who are trying to, take credit now with this $1.2 billion budget. They laughed when Cummings talked about raising the possibility of raising the budget within 3 years. They laughed.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to do that?
Robert, here's the thing, right? Last year you raised $600 million. What is the investment you made so much that you will grow the revenue? You look, you raised $600 million last year, and it's okay. You know what? I think we can double this year. What?
You had to recast.
You got to recast.
You couldn't even pay your employee. You say, we can't pay you. The salary will be delayed because we're updating our
But they don't want us to talk about it. You wake up in the morning, they are in your inbox. They're explaining all the voodoo economics to you. You understand me? All the lofanomics,
It's very sad, Mr. Number. People should read the budget. And I think that they're running around with this new thing is, well, don't question the draft budget. Call your legislator and tell them where you need increases. Call your legislator, and tell them where you need increases, blah, 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 blah. But the draft budget is your budget. It shows where your priorities are.
That's right.
That's your budget. So if your budget is showing different from what your priorities are, why anti-corruption programs are getting $34 million and the agriculture sector is getting $13 million, but you're saying that, well, we need to grow our own food, we need to sustain. How do you do that when you're giving an entity that has no record of any result? You're giving them 3 times more than a sector that we should be investing in 3 times more to grow our food, to invest in farmers. How does that make sense?
Look at your health.
The presidential. So Jerome Gayman asked me this: why do the Ministry of State and Presidential Affairs? Why do they need $15 million? Why do they need $3 or $4 million more than the Agriculture Ministry? Why?
Right. The president got to travel. The travel, the charter plane, you got to do. But Victor, come on.
Then they put $400,000 in something called Presidential Back to School. Man.
Oh, Lord. Hey, my man, it's 7 o'clock. You're closing, man. Let's go.
Yeah, man. But listen, man, I want us to really talk about this budget. Let's get Professor Kennedy on. Let's get some of the economists on, because I have a lot of questions. I've been perusing the budget. I've been looking at it. I mean, I think the details in there will tell you exactly what you need to know. But shout out to the government. Shout out to the government, man. Lone Star is, for the first time in a very long time, I said we don't get credit, but me, I get credit when it's due. Lone Star is participating in the international window. This international window. Of course, we went up, I think, 8 points up on the FIFA ranking. So Lone Star is playing Guinea on the 15 in Morocco. But the Moroccan government, they're paying for food, they're paying for accommodation, they're paying for local transportation. The only thing the Liberian government is required to do is to purchase the plane ticket for players and give them that per dime.
And show up. Show up.
And show up, yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Nagbe. Well, Mr. Nagbe, unfortunately for you, it's 7 o'clock and we got to go. I'll see you tomorrow, man.
All right, guys.
God bless.